So with us today via Skype is Gene Daniell, Romer Absolute Arms Product Manager at Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence. Hi Daniel, thanks for joining us. Oh, hi Gene, I'm sorry, I called you by your last name. Hi Gene, thanks for joining us.
Hi guys, how are you?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good.
Well, explain a little bit for those who don't know, kind of the difference and the challenges facing, let's say, a car racing organization related to innovation that maybe your traditional manufacturing company wouldn't see.
Sure, Dirk. There's two main differences you're going to see with a car racing organization that you won't see in a traditional organization. The first one is that your performance is going to be plastered all over TV. Everybody's going to know it. They're going to talk to you about it in the grocery store, at church, in the gym. There's no hiding it. Everybody's going to know how you did. And they're going to give you a lot of feedback very quickly. The second key part is that you're going to learn something new at every race. And you need to apply that to 4 different race teams over the next 4 to 6 weeks on different tracks that have somewhat different characteristics. And you have to apply those learnings quickly.
So Gene, maybe you can flesh this out a little bit for us, a little further maybe. So in your article, what do you mean by a why not engineering culture? Dirk kind of touched on it a little bit, but what does that mean to you?
Sure, Mike. So in any of the engineering responsibilities I've had in my career, we would look at ideas for improvements. We would test. We would look at it again. We would ask questions like, are we sure we can do this? Does it really make sense? Are we confident that the change will work for us? In a why not culture, you flip that around and you look at your data and you look what you found and you said, can I afford not to do this? Is there a good reason why I wouldn't do it? And it speaks to our confidence level in making changes. And I think it's one of those situations that we all have to come back and look at ourselves and say, maybe we need to push harder. You know, the more you're in an industry that has a lot of competition, where you have good competitors and they push you hard, I think you find yourself being more of a why not person because you have to.
Gene, in my intro, I mentioned that part of what helps you be a why not organization is having data, to support your having data to support your, hey, why not? Maybe we can do that. So Hexagon obviously is a partner with Hendrick Motorsports. So how does the type of metrology equipment, measurement equipment that Hendrick uses, or anyone uses for that matter, support a why not culture?
Sure, Dirk. So if you think about the time frame that these folks are working under to consistently innovate and change and manufacture with limited schedules. I mean, the race goes off at 2 o'clock on Sunday. There's no delaying it. It's going to happen. So what we give them is the speed and confidence with their metrology tools so that they know what they built, they know what they raced the week before. They can run those through their computer software to get predictability. So when they make a change, they also know exactly what that change was. And so the day they get to the track, and maybe it's sunny, or maybe it's shady, or it's a little cooler, they've done all the work, which gives them predictability. And without having confidence in your metrology, you're not going to get that.
So I guess what I hear you saying then is part of the why not equation is having data that helps support your decisions, but also on the back end, knowing that once you've made a decision, you can some way verify it through, in the case of metrology, that you can somehow go back and take measurements and verify that the experiment, let's call it that you've just tried really did pan out the way you expected. I mean, you're not just taking a shot in the dark. You really can do some setup at the beginning and some measurement at the end to kind of verify whether this why not made sense.
Absolutely, Dirk. I think, unfortunately, most of us in engineering roles have had that situation where you did a bunch of experimentation, using data and equipment set up in a particular way that you thought what you had is what you were using, to then get your data, analyze it, find out that it wasn't what you expected, only to find out later that your initial setup wasn't what you thought it was, which makes all of your assumptions and further engineering modifications maybe not that useful, and maybe it was a waste of time. And engineering time is expensive. Your lost time to market is expensive. You really want to make sure that you're confident in what you're doing.
Okay. Well, Gene Daniell, thanks for joining us today to talk to us a little bit about. Hey, by the way, have you ever visited with the folks with just? I'm kind of a NASCAR fan. You ever meet the folks at Hendricks yourself?
Oh, absolutely. It was one of the most fun experiences I had. I grew up in New Hampshire and worked at a speedway for a couple of years in college, and I'd seen NASCAR, and it was exciting to go down and actually see where they make it all happen. Yeah, that must be. I was going to say it must be. I saw pictures of their campus. That must be just a crazy place to visit. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right. Well, Gene, thanks for joining us today. Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right. And we have there is a webinar coming up next week that, appropriately enough, is called Why Not Become a Why Not Engineering Culture. It's a webinar with Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence and Hendrick Motorsport. It's going to be presented by Brandon Evans of Hendrick Motorsports. Brandon is an engineer at Hendrick. And also Scott Grumble from Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence. And that webinar is next Tuesday, August 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. If you want a little shot of NASCAR, that's right, and kind of what's going on behind the scenes and creating a why not culture, be sure to sign up for that webinar. That's right, yes, and keep an eye on your email, so we'll be reminding you about that early next week as well.